Well, I want to thank our crowd for coming out. They make a difference. They really do with their energy, their enthusiasm throughout the game. My thoughts as it relates to this game goes a little bit like this. Coach Beard is a great coach, and when you see a team with four straight ranked opponents on their schedule, they were able to defeat a good Alabama team at Alabama, but they lost two straight after that. We all saw the Texas A&M ending as well. Those things are tough. Obviously, coming in here, we wanted to give our very best, obviously, coming from the Texas game, and I thought our guys did that. There were similarities with the defenses, that toughness that he's instilled in his program. You can see it. They are very, very good at defending the ball. I thought our guys were able to get into some creases, although we had a negative assist to turnover ratio. You have to understand the analytics of it. We were able to get a +6 margin on offensive rebounds, which were extra possessions. So in my eyes, it was a 10 assist, 10 turnover game because we had extra possessions. But these two to my right and left, they carried us. They made big play after big play, and they were definitely doing the same in the huddle with their leadership. So I'm proud of these two.
All right, questions?
Dennis, Chris Beard was saying that these two right here are some of the best players in this league, and they both had special performances. What do you think that Tamar and Caleb have been able to show the league this year?
Their maturation, their emotional, not intelligence, but their emotional literacy. I think these guys have gone through so many battles that you kind of take it for granted what they bring to the table. Look at the stress and how they handle it. Look at the situations and how they handle it. They handle themselves and they lead in a way that I am very proud of. That's why they are both and were named captains. It was my expectation that they grew, and they grew. It wasn't in between the lines that I wanted to push them. It was more so the part of being an extension of the coaching staff, being an extension of me.
Coach, the team celebrated Norm Stewart's 90th birthday. That was this past Monday during this game. You've talked about how you have a really good relationship with him. What from this win do you think he likes about this performance?
That's a double-edged question. Norm's never satisfied when I talk to him, first of all. He'll say congratulations, but he'll pick me apart now. I'm just telling you. So I like the constructive criticism and a relationship that we have where he's not afraid to hurt my feelings or tell me the truth. You need that, right? You need it. But when it comes down to what we're doing as a program, he is definitely proud of that. We get to play on Norm Stewart's court. We get to play in Mizzou Arena where Norm Stewart has a statue standing right outside. I think when our fans think of Mizzou basketball, they think of the coaches that have come after Norm, but they think of Norm at the end of the day. And I'm proud to have that friendship with him, he and his family. The one thing that I would say is the tough plays that we were able to make. Forget the scouting report or forget the stat sheet. These guys laid it on the line, and that's what Norm would be proud of the most, I believe.
For Tamar and Caleb, they came into the game having one of the better rim protecting defenses in the country, but were very susceptible to allowing 3-pointers off kickouts and all that. Was that a point of emphasis for you guys going into this one?
Yeah, I mean, we try to do a good job of playing off of 2 feet and playing with patience around the rim. And obviously, like you said, they have good rim protection. So our chances of finishing off of 1 foot aren't, that percentage wasn't going to be too high. But if we were able to finish off of 2 and either get a layup or spray out for a 3, we knew that we'd be able to pick them apart in that manner just by playing with patience around the rim.
Yeah, like he said, I think we did a really good job of making the right play. I felt like there was a lot of times where someone drove in there, maybe played off 2 feet, they drew 2, kick, and we were getting open looks when we were attacking the paint. So they're really good at basically forcing shots outside the rim because their help defense is so good. So we did a really good job of executing the game plan, and that's getting 2 defenders and doing the labor for somebody else. And I thought we did a really good job of executing that tonight.
Tamar, I think in all 7 SEC games you've scored your team's first points. Is that a coincidence or is that a mindset for you coming out to kind of set the tone?
I mean, it just happens on accident. I mean, I most of the time the first play is never drawn up for me. So like the ball will just, I mean, bounce my way. I mean, I somehow end up open. I don't know how, but I mean,
You'll take it.
yeah, I mean, I take it. I won't. I ain't gonna sit here and if I'm wide open, I ain't gonna be like, no, it's the first shot. I'm not gonna shoot it. But no, yeah, I guess it just. I didn't even realize that, but I guess it just happened like that.
Caleb, what is it that coach has kind of instilled in you that continues to give you the confidence to keep finding your own shot and keep firing the way you do?
After one of the first couple games of the year, me and coach had a real conversation about how I can help impact the team. And that's just throughout the efforts that I can make on the defensive end and creating energy and creating leadership and having leadership throughout the players on our team. So I haven't even went into a mindset of a game like saying like, oh, I want to score 20. I want to hit 5 threes tonight. I just want to do what he asked me to do and the rest will take care of itself.
Coach, on that note, that's exactly what you've told players like Caleb this season to do if they're struggling on the offensive end. Trent Pierce tonight had a nice second half after struggling a bit in the first half. How do you think he showed that mentality?
He just played through it. We don't want both sides of the basketball to impact the other. So offensively, if we're not in, the ball's not falling, I don't want our guys to be impacted defensively, and their energy should never dip in a negative. I want those guys to just get back to what our expectations are. And defensively, if they make a mistake, we want these guys to just focus on the other things on the other side of the basketball. The energy is in the ball. We have ball movement. Guys are unselfish. It just speaks volumes. If Tamar can sit here and say the plays wasn't drawn up for him and they were drawn up for someone else, and he ends up scoring the first basket usually in those games, it just talks about the unselfishness that our team has, and more importantly, how they are connected. It's very difficult sometimes to get guys on the same page, but when you have leadership internally, meaning with the players in the locker room when coaches aren't around and they are messaging directly how I would message, it makes it a lot easier, and we have to continue to play with each other.
Coach, plus 11 on the glass today. That's the best rebounding margin for you guys in over 2 months since the Lindenwood game. Just kind of what was the biggest key for that?
Our guys focusing on it. Sometimes when you do drills in practice, players can just go 50%, 25%, 30%, or sometimes you don't even want those drills focusing up in practice. I think our guys do a great job, meaning our staff do a great job of prescribing what we need to prescribe. And these players, no matter what drill it is, they're giving their very best, and they're doing it in a way that you can visibly see it. And ultimately, from the standpoint of having a Josh Gray, having a Mark Mitchell, having Trent Pierce, it rubs off on Tamar Bates, who was challenged this summer about his rebounding from me. And ultimately, we know what Caleb Grill does on the rebounds. And I think Ant Robinson took a piece of that, and he had 7 or 8 off defensive rebounds tonight.
Coach, they're one of the best defenses in the country at stopping quick points off of steals, but it looked like you guys were pretty successful in that. What do you think went into that?
Just our guys being able to get up and down the court. I thought defensively our rotations were tight. We didn't get out of a stance. Did we jump out of positioning sometimes? Yes. But our guys did not give up on each other, and that's the most important part. They connected in a way that you can see running lanes, securing the loose ball, and being able to advance the basketball in transition.
For Tamar and Caleb, after kind of a tough offensive performance versus Texas, how do you kind of put that out of your mind and respond how you did as shooters in this game?
I mean, after the game, our mindset was to, because I mean, the same thing could have happened tonight where we didn't make shots. So our mindset was to not let, the defensive side of the ball be dictated on if we were making or missing shots or not. So I feel like because we came in with a mindset to get stops and to play defense and to stop the man in front of us and help the helper, like if somebody gets beat, that in turn gave us energy and gave the ball energy and just helped us make shots, along with us being able to, like we spoke to earlier, drive and kick, get paint touches, and because our 3-point percentage skyrockets when we get a paint touch first. So because we were able to do that, we were able to make some shots tonight.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier how a lot of people were doing the labor for other people. I thought we did a much better job maybe making the right plays on the offense and defensive end tonight. So I think it just all led to, higher percentage shots by everybody making the right play and putting a more emphasis after the Texas game.
The locker room at Texas, I want to credit Peyton Marshall. Peyton Marshall had the loudest voice in that locker room, and he was pretty much talking as if it was me. And I credit our team for listening and empowering that young man who sees the game the way that he sees it. He didn't play at all that game. But for him to have the prescription of what happened and how we can improve before I even got in there, and when I began to talk, he said, Coach, I already said what I had to say. And these guys responded in a way, and our practices after that resembled such. Our film sessions resembled such. So when these guys get lost in the debrief, it's hard to watch yourself. But when these guys are sitting there getting lost in the debrief in the locker room post game, then in film session, it makes it easy for a coach to come out with a game plan and understand that it'll get executed.
Coach, just to follow up on the rebounding front, how do you guys try to balance crashing and going after the glass versus getting back in transition or getting out in transition?
You just got to pick your poison. I think our guys run routes that are very indicative of stopping the transition, but only the transit. You got to get the ball first. That's what this league is about. So our staff does a good job. Kyle Smith-Peters does a great job. He's in charge of rebounding. Ryan Charball is in charge of defense. And those two guys are doing a good job of pushing our team, making sure that they see clips and edits of ways we can get better offensively, rebounding the basketball and defensively. So we gave up 20-plus second chance points last game, and we didn't want that same thing to happen tonight. So being able to give up 3, that lets you know our guys' heart was in the right place.
Dennis, I'm sure you guys chart deflections and all that, and you'll see those numbers eventually, but just initial reaction to the activity level you guys had on the defense.
A motion team needs activity to stop them. When I say activity, look at the hand placement. We tried to mirror the basketball no matter what pivots the opponent was using, and that kind of gives us a couple seconds of recovery when there's 5 moving parts offensively and they're a motion team. So I thought our guys did a great job of taking away vision. We limit them to 3 3-pointers in the first half. That's the vision we wanted to take away. The other part of it was those late 3-pointers that they got, they earned them, and we couldn't do nothing about it. They made tough shots. But our guys being able to get deflections, being able to recover in that way helps our defensive positioning, because ultimately we have the length, we have the athleticism. Those are ways that it doesn't show up in the scouting report or in the stat sheet. And I thought our guys was able to get their hands or even put Ole Miss in a situation where they was apprehensive.
Final question.
For Caleb and Tamar, from what you guys heard over the years about Norm Stewart's coaching style, are there any similarities between that of Coach Gates and Coach Stewart?
I think the competitive nature that they both have might be shown in a little bit different ways, but they're, how much they wanted to win and how much they wanted to do good for not just Mizzou basketball, but for the whole University of Missouri. I think those two have a lot in common with their competitiveness and their love for the University of Missouri.
And then just speaking back to when Coach Gates talked about when he actually talks to Coach Stewart and how he how he tells him the truth. Coach Gates is the exact same way. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. He's going to let you know what it is, and I feel like that is a reason why he gets the results out of his players and out of us that he does, just because we know he's real. He's going to keep it real all the time, and at the end of the day, if you're not doing your job, you're going to get caught out on it, and if you are, he's going to let you know. So he gives you a healthy balance of both, but at the end of the day, we just follow his lead, and we seeing the results from it right now.
All right, thanks, guys.
The one thing I would say is thanks to our crowd, thanks to you guys. Me and Coach Stewart share a passion for this institution and the city of Como. So thank you guys. MIZ, happy birthday, Coach Stewart.